topic of this evening is, be it resolved that war is a necessary evil. Please help me welcome David for the motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The German war theorist Clausewitz once said that warfare is the extension of diplomacy by other means. And I think embedded in that is the suggestion that there is a certain inevitability about warfare. I will offer several arguments. One anthropological, in the sense that hardwired into our genes is the need to kill or be killed. In other words, we had to make lunch of somebody else in order to survive ourselves. And when somebody else is trying to make lunch of us, of course, we had to defend ourselves. So in that sense, not only at the individual level, but at the territorial level, when you covet and take the other guy's grain field, and he has to fight against you to maintain the health of his family and tribe and so forth, then the warfare is inevitable. And inevitable in this sense means necessary. The great nations of the world did not come into existence at the stroke of a pen. They shot their way into existence. They came in by bullet and not by ballot. The English Revolution, the French Revolution, the American Revolution, the Russian Revolution, all hinged on the need to overthrow an oppressor or an adversary. The Arab Spring we saw this year has not come without violence. In every single case, there is an aggressor, a belligerent, who must be defended against. And in that respect, the resort to violence is inevitable. And we will see it too in the Occupy movements. The American elites and the elites everywhere else will not give up their comforts and their position voluntarily. The four horsemen of the apocalypse, death, pestilence, famine, and warfare, will continue to haunt the land. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. And now to speak against the motion, Adrian.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. The Prime Minister has come up today and has said that war is inevitable, it is necessary. Well, it is based on a faulty premise, and I'm going to stand up here and argue something totally different, something which probably many of you really haven't given a thought of. Is the fact that war isn't necessary, isn't inevitable. The fact is, I'm going to stand here, I'm going to argue for the benefits that we do not have to fight our way out of every battle, we do not have to respond to the aggressor, but what we can do is surrender. What we can do is roll over, play dead, and just give up. Now, you may think that this may be a cowardly thing to do. This may be something which no man or woman with the strength of soul and the heart of steel and character ought to do. But let's think about it. Why shouldn't they not do it? I'll take you a perfect example. The French in World War II, where 1.8 million people, soldiers, surrendered in the space of a month and a half. Now, what did that surrender give the French? Well, first of all, it saved their capital city. It saved Paris because it meant that the Germans weren't going to absolutely raze it to the ground as they would have. It saved the art. It saved the architecture. In fact, surrender was a good thing. They chose not to fight. Everyone has the ability to choose either to fight or not to fight. And so to say that war is inevitable, to say that war is absolutely necessary, well, that isn't true. There are always options. There are always options to raise ourselves above violence, raise ourselves above going to the lowest common denominator. Now, these options may not be pleasant. These options may not make ourselves feel proud. These options may not, cause us to have a lot of respect, but they are options. The Japanese decided that war was not in their best interest when nuclear warheads were dropped on two of the major cities. The fact of the matter is that there will always be aggressors, there will always be people who want to take what we think is ours, but there's always an option. The resolution that the government puts forward is based on the fact that war is necessary, war is inevitable, and it is not. Everyone always has a choice, and we may not respect them, we may not be able to look them in the eye, we may not be able to say to them, what a coward, but it is always an option, and in certain cases that option is preferable and that option is taken out. War is not necessary, war is not inevitable. For all these reasons, the motion should be defeated.
Thank you, Adrian. And now the final word to David.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The most telling word in the opposition's argument was the word certain. He said, in certain cases, pacifism is to be preferred. Well, now we're down to the relative plenitude of certain and uncertain. The thing is, the resolution reads that war is a necessary evil, and the opposition counters that pacifism is a way around this. Now we're talking about the lesser of two evils. And the historical record will show that populations and countries that have willingly succumbed to the demands of the enemy were simply pledging Danegeld. In other words, they came back with a vengeance. In all cases, defense in the name of liberty is certainly the lesser of the two evils. Please defeat the motion.
Thank you, David. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your vote for the motion.
Can we vote twice?
Okay. 13 for the motion, and then against the motion.
Wait a minute.
No, I didn't count that.
Okay.
I thought she was going already against.
Okay,
Revote, I demand a revote.
Okay, so we have 12.
This man is our treasurer and he can't count.
I'm not going quietly.
Okay,
It was my right
12
hand.
against the motion, please. 5. So 12 for and 5 against.